What's going on, guys? So I know it's been a minute since we've vlogged, and I apologize for that. I've been working on a lot of cool stuff and of course working the regular gig, so things get tight. But this is special. So I got invited, I guess you could say, to check out the brand new Nissan Proto Z. It's awesome. So I'm gonna share it with you guys and show you guys the real car as it is right here in person. So let's go get behind the wheel, yo. So what's crazy is it still has this very much 370-ish Z proportion sets, but we're gonna walk around the car and I'll show you guys the car up close.
You know, there's a lot more going on in the front than you can see in most photos because of the extra grille pieces. And it kind of washes out because it's black. Like you see, there's extra egg crate stuff going on here. Whereas when you look at it in a lot of photos, it looks like it's just a blank hole, right? So
it's kind of like a BMW M3.
You
guys definitely get to see the depth now.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is in a picture, it just looks like a black hole. You know,
Like a square black hole.
Yeah,
It's like a post online and post people the pictures like the front grille adjustments. The video does.
You can't,
Yes,
you can't
the video
see that
did,
extra
yeah, for
depth
sure.
in there. So you can't see what's actually going on here in the front from most photos.
Yeah. Like I have to say, like seeing it in person does fix everything that I really didn't like about it. I mean, it could be a little better.
You guys want some more light so you can see it a little bit better?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me turn up some light. Oil cooler, that's good.
So my concern with the Z was that it felt like they were taking a lot of cues from different generations and they were kind of making a greatest hits album out of this car, which the design language doesn't translate. When you have 240Z front end, 370Z chassis with the 300ZX rear, it really doesn't relate, especially in the photos. But here in person, you can actually see the angles of the nose of the car. And you can really see more depth into the grille. So I'm not gonna say I'm taking my words back because I think the final product could be better, but this is still dope. And I'm really excited. Like, I want this car to be successful. A lot of you guys, if you didn't know, collectively between my entire family, we've owned every Z except for the 262 plus 2 and the 370. So I really want this car to be successful because I really want to get one. Right now, you know, I'm working with a 2008 Nismo. I didn't pick up a 370 because I really wasn't a fan of the styling. So I'm hoping this car kind of takes that spot. It really excites me. So enough talking, let's go back to the Z.
So I wouldn't take all of it for.
Look at the rear suspension. Look down there. So you notice that that's a cross-speed direct on Z34, which is actually the 370. The location of it. Then you look at the bottom.
No, again, the chassis that it's built on isn't necessarily what this car is,
Of course.
right?
So of course you're going to. The rear hatch is beautiful. Now they only get to see the line right there.
See this?
But this is pretty cool, like, so this part of it,
Yeah,
it's representing
right. This is all 370 feel.
Oh. There is no
So looking at the back of the Z, the lighting is a little larger than it appears to be in photos. I think honestly it could be even a little bit larger, but it definitely fills up the back of the car, unlike the photos which it kind of seemed to be smaller. I thought the taillight section mimicked very similar, closer to the 240SX style lighting, but this actually does fill up a lot of the back of the car, and you might have missed it in the photos. There is some defining like line in the bumper, and it's really cool. I mean, I actually see like the depth in the details. Maybe this yellow color wasn't the greatest launch color. The Z has been a huge staple in my family for a long time, so which was really cool. And I really want this car to be successful. I will be honest, the videos, the initial photos didn't do this car justice. There's a lot more definitive lines that you can see in the nose.
Yes.
The curvatures, I think, got lost in this paint maybe. So I'd like to see it in a different color. But like seeing it up close, I can see like the lines in the bumper, the taillights look larger.
Yep.
Then in the photos, they look like a small strip similar to the 240SX last lights.
Yep.
I think the interior looks phenomenal.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, a step up, and we're providing really that modern technology that you'd expect, you know, with something of this caliber, you know. So now with the 12.3-inch screen, the TFT meter display, you know, we're really bringing that modern technology into the vehicle while still giving you that 6-speed manual transmission
and that
visceral experience.
That honestly is the huge selling point, because with the Supra, you know, didn't have a manual gearbox. Now, don't get me wrong, the transmission of that car is very accurate and alive, but I feel like certain cars at a certain price level, the ability to roll through the gears adds to the theater of the driving of the car. Would I want a manual Huracan? Absolutely not.
Probably not.
It's like, I don't even know if I'd want the GTR in a manual, but you know, something like this definitely needs to be a manual. Something like the Supra, the 8.6, the Toyota 8.6, those are cars that need to have a manual gear option, because being able to roll through the gears and use a clutch pedal adds to the theater of driving that car. So it's really awesome that Nissan's acknowledging that that is important in the DNA of the Z.
Yep.
So I know it's real cool.
It was a must, an absolute must.
Oh, do you mind being on video? Is that cool?
Huh?
Can you be on video? Is that cool? Or it's totally fine. Oh, okay. I just didn't know. You never know.
No. I'm here for all purposes. I'm Jonathan Bueller, so communications manager for sports cars for Nissan.
Cool. He's well connected, guys. That's what he's saying. So I think it's great that the Z is a focus for Nissan. You know, with the rebranding and Nissan acknowledging that the sports car is still an important vehicle, that the Z is still an important vehicle.
Yeah.
That's super awesome to me. And I was very critical. I'll be honest, and I know a lot of you guys who follow me on Instagram and then the videos, you guys know I was really critical about the launch of this car. I just was expecting so much more. You know, it was like with the Supra, the FT concept was dope. We know concepts usually don't translate into real life. So when the Supra came out, it was a little underwhelming. Then no manual gearbox, a little underwhelming. So I really wanted Nissan to like swing for the fences and knock this out of the park. Now that I see the car in person, I can see the body lines that I think are lost in the photos. And it's something that you really need to see in person.
Definitely.
I do think it could be just a little better. Just a little. I'm not trying to be too critical. I'm excited. So another one of my concerns I want to address. I thought that Nissan was trying to make like a greatest hits album with this car. 240Z front end, 370Z like body, 300ZX rear. And I was concerned that looking at the photos and what I saw in the production videos, the design language wasn't connecting.
I see.
240Z is its own thing.
Right.
370 its own thing. 300 its own thing. So to kind of make this mosh pit of styling cues, I felt was kind of getting, I don't know, a little maybe washed away. But now that you see it in person, it is different.
No, you're absolutely right. When you see this, you have to see this car in person to really see and understand how it all connects and how it flows and delivers that passion of Z with this new generation. You have to see it to believe it, so to speak, as cliche as it sounds.
I mean, I'm excited. So I have a Nismo version right now.
Yeah, great.
I have a 2008 350Z Nismo. I didn't get a 370. I thought 370 was a little not also in the design mark. But will we see a Nismo version of this?
Time will tell, man.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. Time will tell. We're just excited to be able to deliver to you guys, you know, the Z Proto as kind of what to expect in the future from us with this new Gen Z. So yeah, we're just extremely excited to have you guys out here to take a look at the car. Nice. And quite honestly, so you were telling me your family owning almost every generation of Z.
Yeah.
Like my wife and I have 240Zs as well. We're just big diehard Nissan fans. I completely, just wholeheartedly know that when anyone sees this car in person, it'll make complete sense. It's a great package.
Guys, I have to agree with the man. I think this is a car that you're gonna have to see in person, and I'm glad that I'm able to see it before you all. But it's really dope, and I really hope I can get behind the wheel of one of these as soon as they come out, or when you guys start dropping press cars or whatever, because it's a Z, and it's a Z in 2020.
Yes, sir.
When everybody's building Priuses and electric boxes, we're still getting a manual, 400-ish horsepower, I hope, twin turbo sports car, rear-wheel drive sports car.
Rear-wheel drive, yes, sir.
So enough talking. Let's get back to showing you guys some more of the car. So the whole reason I got a chance to see this vehicle is because Sean Morris definitely hooked it up with the connection here. So let's get some impressions about the car from Sean real quick.
You know, the biggest thing to me was, you know, what a lot of people said was like the front grille, you know, because it's so big and square and just like a big black hole. And the thing is that you really miss in photos the actual like egg grade and the multiple levels of stuff going on in the front. And I mean, I almost need to be by the car, right, to kind of explain some of what it is. Because it does look that way in photos, but I mean, you've got multiple levels of stuff going on here. And so, like, what looks like a big gaping void isn't actually. And so, you know, obviously, if they'd done something else, it would obviously change the look. But if you know, if they'd put some kind of strip, or, you know, I mean, almost, I don't want to say chrome or anything like that, but if they'd done something like that, which they probably thought about at some point, they probably have some versions of this with, you know, basically like a brushed look or something like that, so to give it kind of a different look in the front. And it would be weird, but, you know, again, like, because like some people, Steven, put you know, like a fake bumper and stuff on here in the front, but again, like, you don't see a lot of that detail that's going on here, you know. So and you know, overall excited. I mean, anytime you can have a you know, a cool rear wheel drive, you know, turbocharged manual transmission car. You know, I'm not so much of a Z guy, but you know, I still appreciate cars. So I still appreciate a lot of what they are. You know, you've got all your triple stack of gauges up there. You know, you've got turbo speed, you've got boost, you know, you've got a lot of other things that you're probably going to be able to show on those different gauges. And again, this is Proto, so, you know, we know that the chassis that it's built on is probably some current chassis, so there probably will be some changes. But, you know, obviously the closer that it is to a current production, the easier it is, the faster it's going to be in production. So some people have said, hey, you know, it's taken too long, but then it's sort of like, even when the 350Z came out, it was kind of a long time between when the 300Z ended and the 350Z came out. And the 350Z was a pretty big hit, you know, because there wasn't any other competition or anything else that really existed around. And so, I mean, I'm hoping for Nissan and hoping for the future of sports cars in general that it does well. So, because, you know, I mean, hopefully, again, turbocharged, manual transmission, rear wheel drive, fun car. So.
Am I going back on my statement that the Z is not as pretty as it could be? Absolutely not. But that's a damn good start. This guy needs no introduction. You've seen him a bunch of times on my stuff before. The infamous, the kind, the generous Mr. Sean Lee himself of Purist Group. Sean, we are here at this undisclosed location checking out the new prototype of the next Z. I'm a huge Z guy. Do you have any relationship with the Z? Like, what's your relationship with Z, or just Nissan in general? Or?
I mean, I wanted to have a 240 and 260Z and always loved the 280Z. But my relationship started with, it's a little later, with the 300Z X-Twin Turbo. You know, that's one of my favorite cars. Of course, later on, the 370Z and 350Z, I did have a lot of chance to drive it and actually put it on the track and play with it.
Nice.
You know, great platform, great car, and also you had to look at it.
Yeah.
The price right now, $31,000 for 370Zs, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. Because, I mean, what is it, 28 for FRS?
For FRS and BRZ now.
Yeah.
Right? You get a V6 and 335 horsepower, right? And manual transmission, which is something as BRZ, but much more mature chassis and driving feel for the new 370Z. Yes, the car, a lot of people say the design and mechanical stuff is very old, but still very competitive. And it's still one of the good analog cars that's out there. You know, you can still drive this car. It doesn't involve the traction control. Everything doesn't make your driving crazy. You know, unlike a lot of modern cars right now. Yeah. You know, the chassis is still very superior. You know, whatever you want to do to it, right? Yeah. And there's a lot. Of course, there's plenty of aftermarket support on that. You know, rear subframes, the upper 8 lower control arms, and coilover. You have 50 different brands that's making parts for this car right now. Yeah. You know.
What do you think about the Proto Z? Like, what do you like most about it? What are some things you think it could be changed? Or?
So I was excited when it first came out. It's just from pictures, right? Of course, everybody was pointing out at the grill and a lot of stuff. Seeing this in person is very, very astonishing. I mean, the line of it is super clean. Compared to modern car right now, there's like, you know, intake scoop here and another line over there, another line over there, and big tail, big wing. This, you have to see this in person. It's very, very clean, you know, and it's very mature design. What do I think it could be do better? I think later on in the Nismo version, I'm curious what the Nismo version is going to be, right? It comes out.
Yes.
Yeah, of course, it's going to have more power. This is supposed to be rated at 400 horsepower with the twin turbo V6, right? Of course, I think the suggested, I hope Nissan like do the suggested retail MSRP pricing right, right? So the OZ starting at $31,000, you know, and hope this car is not too far away from that.
Yeah.
You know, so that'll make the Supra 2.0 totally not even competitive because that starts at $50,000 for a 2.0 turbo.
Yeah.
And you're getting a V6 twin turbo right here, 400 horsepower, and a great platform to start, right? So I don't know. Hopefully Nissan give it the right price tag. That's very important. The success of this car and its concept and its idea.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was really blown away because the 370 seemed so much larger. And I was kind of expecting that this was going to, as we've seen cars progress and progress, they seem to get larger and larger and larger.
Yeah.
And this seems very
narrow and compact.
Yeah, very narrow, compact. The proportions are much more pleasing in person. You do get that long bubble nose that you're familiar with the Z, but it's so, everything is so proportionate. I think with the 370 was lost with its big hips and big front. They've definitely trimmed it down, and this is very much very.
You have to see this in person to see it.
Yeah, I mean,
but they also have a lot of a longer overhang. You see, actually the nose section is very front. So the first radiator or anything that has mechanical will start coming in right around here. So this overhang right here basically is simply for looks. But also you'll create a lot of aerial velocity to create more air coming to the front grille. Because it's a twin turbo motor, it's generating a lot of heat. Most cars, a lot of turbos on there, they have vents here, they have vents here, they have vents here, everything. But they try to keep a clean design. So all the air that comes in to cool the engine has to come from here only. So they're generating a very long tunnel going to the radiator, so it can generate a lot of air velocity right here to push the air in. So this is a little thing that they designed, and that's kind of cool. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, I know on the 350, on the 370s, they did have some cooling issues.
Yeah.
One of the main first upgrades is a radiator and oil cooler. So I think obviously with this design, you know, it'll funnel in front air. Fortunately, we can't pop the hood, but just a quick thing to note, this line that you see here. And if you've ever seen a 240Z, the 240Z had that exact same kind of shape in the hood. And so it's real cool that that's a nice little design characteristics that's transferred over to this model car. Yeah, also
eyebrow. So remember the 240Z actually had a G nose. The original 240Z was a round headlight, right? But the G nose, remember, it had a plastic cover on that?
Yeah.
So this actually was just trying to simulate the G nose from the 240Z days. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Everything is right. The angle.
Yeah.
Clean. It's very clean. There's no unnecessary lines on the car. You know. It's almost like you driving a 240Z in modern days with modern powertrains.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool. It's just really, really cool.
This is the factory done resto mod.
Exactly. I dig it.
Factory done
I
resto
so
mod.
dig it. I dig it a lot. I'll put my money on it.
So we're talking about the rear piece of the car.
And I mean, I don't see like the carbon bits that are on there that are really good on the prototype car. I don't see those making production because obviously you got costs involved, right? And you've always got to, you've got to take a dime and suspend a dime, right? So it's like if you're gonna improve things on the car, on the engine, on the suspension, on the other things, you kind of have to take them away sometimes from the aesthetics. And so, something like that may be an optional trim package, or basically what I see is like, they make it out of a composite or like, some kind of plastic or something that has the look and the feel sort of carbon, but wouldn't be actual carbon because of, again, the costs, and then when you're doing production, the time involved. So.
And what we're talking about here is the actual bottom. There's bottom piece right here is carbon. So what do you think, man? How's it compared to the Fugu?
Oh, this is everything the Fugu wants to be.
Oh, wow.
Who is the designer? So Tamara-san designed the car?
No, so Alfonso Baisa designed it with collaboration with Tamara-san for dynamics and performance.
It finally has a cup holder. That's what we needed in the Z. All the Z owners just want one cup holder.
Give me a cup holder. Incorporate the yellow from the Z32, and then 112. Yeah, so
and the pearl yellow from the 92 300Z.
92. Yep, that's it. So yeah, this
I
is
have part of one of those cars on my wall.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. It met a bad fate on one side, so we saved it and made wall art. That's the way to do it.
So guys, I gotta tell you, seeing the new Proto in person definitely changes my perspective per se. I do think the car still could be better. Not gonna lie, Nissan, that's one hell of a swing for the plate. It looks much better in person. So guys, if you hate the Z, because I'll be honest with you, I was right there with you. I thought the design was a little off, but this is a car that you really need to see in person, because once you see it in person, it's definitely gonna change everything about the Z. So don't write it off yet. It's exciting that Nissan is still paying attention to the sports car. It's exciting that they're still believing in the DNA of the Z. I'm geeking right now. I really am. If y'all can, I'm gonna take this off for 2 seconds. I am geeking right now. But yeah, so this is super cool, guys. Let Nissan do its thing. I know a lot of us, like I said, me particularly, I was very, very critical of the design language of this car. Seeing it in person, it does make sense. The front could be better. Interior is awesome. Like, I think they nailed it with the interior. For you guys asking, yes, there is a cup holder. You still get the 3-gauge pods, similar to the 240Z all the way through 50 through 70, well, the Zs in general. It looks like a 6-piston brake up front, 4-piston in the back. The 300ZX taillights make sense now that you can see them in person, because all they did was just kind of pull them apart. The Z logos are nice. I think a really cool thing is that they had a little Easter egg since 1969, which I got to show you guys right here. And then, of course, there is a Fair Lady Z badge on the car. Will it be called the Fair Lady Z? Don't know. Could it be the 400Z? Don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But all in all, the Z is almost back, guys. And it's a real treat to see. And this mask is getting on my nerves. But the Z is almost back. I can't wait to drive it. Nissan, if you're watching, I can guarantee you there's no bigger Z fan than myself. And I'd love to really check out this car and see it and drive it. Get behind the wheel is what I was looking for. So guys, I just can't stop looking at this thing. I'm supposed to be looking at you guys, but this thing is just dope. Guys, check it out. Have faith. Nissan believes in the Z DNA. And honestly, to me, being a Z guy and my entire family, that means more to me than anything. So hopefully I can get behind the wheel and check one out. I cannot wait to see this go toe-to-toe with the Supra. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome, guys. So stay tuned. Hit the like button, subscribe, and of course, until the next time we get behind the wheel, turn miles into smiles, guys. You can never tell me that Cody Walker is not a true, genuine car guy. He's literally crawling on the floor here.
So again,